Everyone, welcome back to Painted Studio. It's Maury Curtis Dunbar here. We are working on the continuation of some of the projects we were working on earlier today. Our next steps on the pieces that we stained and glazed earlier is top coats. So I'm going to address top coats versus waxes, why you choose which one and how they all work and which one is better for what. Of course, if I don't answer the question that's most prevalent in your mind, definitely please post below in the questions and the comments. And if I happen to miss your comment during the live, I will go back, I review all the questions. Hey, Jamie, nice to see you. I go back and I answered all the questions. I write them down so you have the answers. They're easier to find than scrolling through the video trying to remember what it was I said. Sorry, I got a brush that's got a little clump in it and I'm just trying to break it apart so we can use it in a few minutes. Okay, waxes versus top coats. Traditionally, wax was a top coat before we learned to develop shellac and then polyurethanes and then pre-catalyzed lacquers and all these other things. Wax was what you used on wood. The issue with wax is that it's not terribly durable. When you wax furniture, hey Maddie, nice to see you. When you wax furniture, in general, it needs to be re-waxed every year because especially on the areas that get the most wear, it's not the most durable top coat. And even though it has that wonderful feel, you have to choose where you're going to put it because, you know, if you're going to use it on your dining table, you're going to have to wax it way more than once a year. It's not going to get the best usage by being a top coat for a hard wearing surface because doesn't wear hard. But for fine furniture pieces, decorative pieces, antiques and stuff like that, wax is amazing. It gives a great texture. Now top coats are for exterior use, interior use on most furniture and cabinetry, interior, exterior, either way, and they are for harder wearing surfaces. Things like kitchen cabinetry will not hold up to being waxed. What's more is food oil is attracted to wax, so you're actually putting a greasy coating on your cabinets and then having food grease stick right to it because that's what it wants to do. We have different top coats that are appropriate for different surfaces. For example, I have AquaGuard Gloss. I don't have the bottle in front of me, I just have my little jar, but it's AquaGuard Gloss from Faux Effects. Interior, exterior rated, great top coat. I use it a lot of times on the legs of tables and things like that, but I don't use it for the top because again, it's not the hardest wearing top coat and I want something that's a little different on maybe a tabletop, but I can use this on end tables and accessory pieces and all that sort of stuff. Perfectly durable, interior, exterior rated. Now, if I need something that's going to level better, something that has alcohol resistance, so that it means that it's safe to scrub and use cleaners on, I'm gonna choose my Varnish Plus. And again, I'm sitting here with the big bottles on the shelves because I always pour myself, but this is Faux Effects Varnish Plus. Satin is my go-to simply because I prefer satin over gloss. I don't like things super shiny. I like the satin finish. Faux Effects makes a top coat called Aquathane, which is one of their hardest top coats, and it's what I would use on floors, interior floors. C500, Faux Effects hardest, super durable top coat, is interior and exterior rated, but it's a little hot. That's why they recommend using an isolating layer of something like AquaGuard underneath it so that it doesn't damage stain, it doesn't damage glaze, things like that. So I've given you a kind of whole lot of information and I'll list each one of these in the post, but really you're picking your top coat to suit the need of the piece that you're doing. So if you don't need the strongest, most bomb-proof top coat on something, you don't choose C500, you choose a different one. If you want something that has an old world look that you can't get from the current forms of water-based and oil-based top coats, then you're gonna choose a wax. Sorry, my hair is in my face and it's bugging me. But that means that piece isn't going to be the most durable piece. So you don't use it on a piece for something that's going to get hard wear. In our house, that would be the coffee table because everybody puts their feet on it. So we don't put wax finishes on pieces of furniture like that. All right, so now we're going to go talk about waxing a piece. Now this is dry. I put it in our drying area just to make sure it got good and dry. And you can see there are places where the stain took a little unevenly right here. It's hard to see it because the light's not going to hit it well. See if I can get the light in there. It's a little deeper here than it is here, and simply that's the nature of the way this wood is. It's cheap wood. So once this dried, I gave it a light sanding and dusting just to take off any of the raised grain because, again, cheap wood pops grain really easily. And we're going to wax this one. Why? Because this is an easy piece to wax. It's going to show what I'm talking about with waxes easily, and because it's not going to be used for anything other than a decorative piece, I don't need to worry about how hard and durable the top coat's going to be on here. I can go for the satiny finish of the wax. So wax, there are a lot of waxes on the market, beeswax, water-based sort of waxes, that are synthetic waxes. Let me see if there's anything left in there. It's not. We're going to use our other Libron wax. And then there's solvent-based waxes that are tinted. So different brands often make waxes that are different. This happens to be Libron's Black Bison polish in neutral. And this is a solvent-borne polish. You open it up, it smells like shoe polish. Very similar idea. And then there are other waxes that are, beeswax doesn't have this solventy smell, but it is, again, another wax. You can't paint over real waxes like this or like beeswax. They are oily, they are the top layer. They will resist everything. If you're going to wax something, just know when you use real waxes like this, you have to remove them before you can paint over them because wax is a traditionally resist layer, meaning it does not like anything put over it. That's the point of it. It's a top coat sealant, water resistant. When you wax shoes, when you wax wood, when you wax anything, it then sheds water, which means that paint doesn't like it afterwards. There are some other companies that are making waxes that are supposed to be paintable. They seem to be modified carnauba wax. Carnauba wax, if you're not familiar with it, that's like turtle wax. It's a wax often used in the automotive industry. Okay, so you can see I was just scraping out a little of this wax and putting it in here. Now, why would I do that? Well, wax comes in colors, but guess what? You can tint your wax too. By the way, and watch me do this. I'm going to explain why. I have a rag in here because I use the wax most of the time clear, untinted. But it's really hard to wash a wax rag. But the other part is that it's solvent, so it's got solvents in it, so it's combustible. If I do this, I have sealed it airtight, safe as can be, and nothing bad will happen. I won't have any combustibility there. And my rag will stay right with the wax, and it's there already saturated, so I don't lose wax into resaturating another rag. You know, a little, like I said, it's like a lot like working with shoe polish. All right, so I'm softening my wax up first because, you know, it gets a little hard in those containers. And I'm just softening it up like you would if you were going to cream butter. So wax can be tinted with powdered pigments, and so you can make a solid like black or purple. I've made colored waxes for specific pieces of furniture because none of the waxes I could buy on the market were going to give me the right color, so I tinted my own. Now, I do have some waxes, but I have to find out the legalities of where I can ship to and how it has to be shipped because solvent-based waxes cannot go through the regular mail. So Now I have a little bit of this wax to sell. I got to go through the loops of the hoops and loops of finding out how I ship it safely. All right, so this is Mayan Gold mica powder from Sepleaf. I do not carry this, but this is one of the ways you can pigment your wax. You can add mica powder to it. It doesn't dissolve in the wax, don't get that wrong. It disperses through the wax. It's suspended in the wax so that then you can have a little extra gold on your surface. And you can make this as goldy gold as you want it or as translucent as you want it. I'm not going too crazy on this because I've already got metallics in the stains that I created and there's already a little light shimmer on there and I just want to bump that shimmer up a little bit. Okay, let's get our little container in. Now there's lots of ways to do this. You can use a brush. This is not actually a waxing brush. This is a European cutting brush. They're made in France. I happen to have a couple of these, but I like them to use these inside a container in the corner because it allows me to get the wax in there. And I'm just tipping it in. There's not a whole lot on my brush. And then I'm taking it and I'm brushing it around. And this is really nice for getting it into the corners. And I don't even have to use that after this point. I can just take some cheesecloth. Let me make a little cheesecloth pad here. Now I'm going to show you top coats on the table as long as the glaze is dry enough, and we're going to have to check that. Okay, so I just got a little tiny bit of wax on there, and I'm taking it and I'm rubbing it back and forth. And this is not going to look like much now. All it's going to do is soak in and make the wood look darker. And then once it's dry, it turns a little hazy. And then you can buff it to a low sheen. And it's beautiful on here. Now this is sucking in the wax, so I may have to blend up some more, but that's not a big deal. I'd rather not blend too much of this because then, you know, I can't use it on a whole lot of stuff. It just sits around someplace gathering dust. Okay. Take the wax, this little brush. In here into the corners. So if you have a waxing brush, you can do it with a waxing brush. I've never even heard of a waxing brush when I first started doing furniture. It was all like jam your fingertips in the corner and hope you don't break your nails off and stuff. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this on camera, but what the wax is doing, the solvents in here are penetrating and making the colors look even deeper and richer. Let's get the insides. Wax looks on furniture. It's just, I wish it was more durable. And I know somebody's going to say, this cannot be painted over. This is going to be this thing's final finish forever. Because the wax will make it so that other stuff does not penetrate and doesn't bond and doesn't grab. So let's get that on here on the top. Okay. And as you can see, I stained the outside while I was away from you all. I had to get it all done so I could show you how to wax. And a little piece of paper flew in there. see if I can do this so you're actually seeing this, because it's really hard right now for me to get this in the camera frame and actually be able to wax it where you can see it. So. And I get asked about waxing a lot. So, you know, I've spent a lot of years painting furniture. This is actually how I started in the industry, is painting furniture. And then I did walls, floors, ceilings, murals, building exteriors, all kinds of stuff in the decorative arts for the better part of 30 years. And then we opened the studio. Now you will, when you wax furniture, you're likely going to, should be able to, if you've got any feeling left in your fingertips, which for some of us is questionable. I've actually put calluses on my fingertips from burnishing tape for so many years. But once this is on, you'll be able to feel which sides have been, which areas have been waxed and which haven't. There will be a little waxy feeling to it. All right, so we got to let that one dry. And when that dries, it will be ready to go. Now we're going to do the other box, because then I can walk by it and see just how dry the table is, to see if we can top coat the table. Okay, here's a little more. Now I didn't want the other one terribly golden. This one I want to put more gold into. I'm going to do this for the brown and the pink box. I want to see a lot more gold pop up on that one. So I'm mixing more wax with even more mica powder, making a more golden wax. And for those of you who are familiar with Rub and Buff, it's very much the same thing we're making here. Only I'm choosing my gold. Nobody's made the gold color but me, so I know what my gold is going to look like. Now my cans of wax that you just saw me dig into, it's an old can. I've had it for years. Wax doesn't go bad, it lasts forever. It can dry out and get almost impossible to use, which is where I'm getting with this one, because you can see that I had been using a couple cans back and forth. But newer cans are creamier. And let me go get the box. Here we go. Here's our raspberry and brown box. Now, honestly, I just went back and checked the Old World Finish Paint glazed finish that we did earlier in our live, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's not ready. If I tried to top coat it right now, I'd rip the glaze off, and that means then I'd rip the other parts of the finish off. So we're not going to top coat in this live. You're just going to watch me wax boxes while we talk about waxes versus top coats. So I'm sorry, folks. I tried. Didn't get that. So every time I do something like this, I remember the scene from Alien. Which one is it? Alien Resurrection, where they're on the spaceship and Ripley's been cloned like a million times. And the captain on there sits and polishes his shoes, and he lights his shoe polish on fire. That's kind of the same idea. Now, I did not sand this at all, because I'm going to use the brush and push this wax into the grain. I want it actually grainy. Unlike the other one, I wanted it not to be grainy. And this one, I'm absolutely brushing the wax on. And I don't know if you can catch it, but right there you can see that little bit of gold that's making that pop. Because I want to embrace the grain on this, that's why I'm using the brush. I want to be a little heavier handed with the wax than I can be with the rag. So again, using the brush. And I know it's hard for you to see, but I can see the light will shift, and so I can see where I have stained or where I have waxed and where I haven't waxed. It shows very clearly for me. Let me put this way so that you all can see me waxing the inside here. It's not enough wax on there. I love how this just gives this a little bit of a golden shimmer in there. All right. It's actually chilly here today. You can see I've got a jacket on. It's like 60 degrees out. And then it's gonna go back up to 80 after the weekend. So yeah, we're having bipolar weather here today. Or as we call it in Illinois, fall. I get a lot of wax on the brush this time, and I think I got a little more than I meant to. Oh, no, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. All right, I've got that one still has, that side still needs to be waxed. So somebody said something about inner dialogue the other day. And I actually, I have a constant one going on in my head, full sentences, conversations, scenarios, the whole thing, all the time. And it never occurred to me that people didn't actually have that constantly running through my head. So for those of you who don't have an inner dialogue, I don't hear constant sentences and stuff your whole life running like a monologue in your head, and I don't mean this to be funny, what do you hear? I'd love to know what would be in my head if I wasn't constantly, running scenarios and that's been my way all my life, and everybody in my family's that way. So they're no help. So if you could tell me what people with the constant inner dialogue who don't have that, is it quiet? I'd like some of that. Can you send me some? Okay, so I've gotten the inside waxed, and it's gonna get no, I missed one side, I think. And if I didn't, well, this one's getting a little extra wax then. No, I didn't miss this side. It's already waxed. I can feel it from the way the brush is moving across it. All right, so we're gonna wax this part. Get in the center here so you can see. And this should show a little more even on the brown than it did on the pink. You see, there you go. That's what it's doing. You can see the gold is catching in that grain. Look how beautiful that is. There we go. And again, it looked like a lot of gold. Surprisingly, not so much. You would have thought that had a lot more on there. considering how much mica powder I shoved into this wax, but it's really very subtle. And you can use these for seasonal decoration. You can use them for your mail. You can use them on your desk for letters. You can fill them with candy for Halloween. And I don't know about your town. Our town is still trying to figure out how, whether or not we're going to be doing the retail trick-or-treating. I have a feeling probably not, because last year we had something like close to 600 kids, or even, I don't know, we spent a small fortune. The town count said it was over 600 kids. And they came through so fast. I don't think they're going to let us do that this year, just for safety. But I have been looking on Pinterest and on Facebook for all these cool ways to hand out candy. And my favorite one is a big piece of white PVC pipe that you set one end lower than the other, and you use it like a candy chute and decorate it up. And oh my gosh, what fun would that be to have outside? How much fun would kids have, like just having the candy drop out of like Frankenstein's mouth and stuff? I think that's so cute. So I'm loving how this is now getting that little bit of gold shimmer. Now you can see right here, the stain took very peculiarly right there, and I don't know whether there was something odd on the wood or what, but again, inexpensive pieces, you cannot, this is not the finest wood. You're not looking at bird's eye maple here. So, no burled walnut. This is inexpensive wood that they use, pine or whatever. I have no idea what this is. Could be oak, could be anything. Could be poplar. I don't know my wood grains well enough. I'm sure somebody else recognizes the grain in this well enough to tell me what wood it is. But it was cheap wood. Let's put it this way, it's cheap wood. And as you might have guessed, because I don't know what grain this is, I also don't do a lot of wood graining. I know how, I just don't do it. There are people who spend their entire lives dedicated to the art of graining, and they are so gifted. And quite frankly, my attempts are an insult. And I've taken graining classes with fine, very gifted wood grainers. Steve Wallace is amazing. Doesn't make me a great grainer. He's a great grainer. All right, so now we've waxed this. I'm going to set that aside. The other one has been drying for a little while. We're going to take a piece of cheesecloth, or you can do it with a terry towel, or any other kind of rag you might happen to have around. This is too much cheesecloth here. I don't need this much. Okay, I make myself a little pad. My wax is sat up and cured for a little while, and then I come back and I give it a little buff. And now we have that beautiful soft sheen. I can see it catching a little bit in there, and it's silky smooth to the touch. Whereas before buffing, it's a little sticky drag feeling. There's a little sticky drag. Now it's like satin. So right here, there's a little drag, like I can catch my finger in it here. Now the satin shines come up on it. And my fingers just glide across. I love this. This is what I love about wax. It smells good, it feels good, it's got this wonderful touch to it. It just isn't durable enough for most of the things that I create. All right, so come in here, wipe this down. Now, I got a little shimmer, a little shine on there. I don't know if I can get it to catch in. There we go. See that shine? That beautiful shine? That's from the wax. Now think of how cute this is going to be if I filled it with like some mums or some little succulent plants. Perfect seasonal. How cute is that? And we created our own stain colors so that they were easy for us to use in whatever way we wanted to. and get whatever look we need it out. Excuse me, need it. I need a drink of water. And we get that nice shine here too. Excuse me, my voice is... Give me just a second. Excuse me, my voice went out and I lost my ability to speak. So now we burn it, polish this, the wax is dried. And you can see that beautiful low sheen on there. Again, I didn't sand this one because I wanted that gold to pop into the grain. And again, super subtle, really lovely though. And if I want it more gold, I can simply put another coating of wax on here. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I polished my wax there. I decide I wanted a little more gold. Got my brush. Brush on another layer of wax. Now it's even more gold once that dries and I burnish it. The sheen will be a higher gold level, but still subtle and still gorgeous. And this is really all you have to do with wax. And see that burnishing too kind of gets rid of that sort of little bit of ashy flatness that happened from applying the wax, because you got to buff it to finish turning it translucent. And then it makes the grain and the colors inside pop too. Which one did I just put more wax on? There we go. This isn't quite dry enough, but I just want to wipe everything down before I finish up for the day. And you see, you don't get a lot of stuff off of there with the wax. The wax soaks down, penetrates, looks gorgeous. That's, and again, look how cute this is. You can put it in your dining room. If you want it for food in your kitchen, you need to put a liner in here because this is not food safe. But you can just throw a little napkin in it, throw some apples and some oranges. That would be super cute. Fill it with flowers. Do whatever you'd like. And of course, I still need to stain the bottom. Haven't done that, but there you go. So tomorrow, whoops, my tripod wanted to flip over on me. Oh no. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be back. We'll do the top coating on the table. I was ready to do it tonight. Unfortunately, that's gonna be a problem with the glaze not being dry enough. So we just did the waxing. I won't even bother, well, I will try to clean this out a little bit just so I don't get cross-contamination with colors. But I'm not gonna kill myself to clean my wax brush out. I just wanna get the superficial stuff off. When you have wax rags like we did, even from the polishing, you leave them out to dry and leave them flat. You need to have all of the solvents that are in here evaporate out before you throw it away, because it's combustible, so you don't want to have anything bad happening that way. Let's put my other rag back in here. So this is nice and airtight. There we go. And we're all done. All right, everybody, if you have questions about wax that I did not answer clearly for you, please don't hesitate to post the questions in the comments below. I will answer them. When I'm done here later today, like I did the one earlier, I'll come back, I'll list the materials that we used. The wax, I do carry some wax, but you're not going to find it listed on my website right now because I have not figured out the shipping issues with that yet. It's brand new in. I just brought it in the other day. I'm going to figure it out. But meanwhile, if you need a resource for waxes, go to sepleaf.com and you can buy wonderful waxes. You can tint them with Sepleaf mica powders. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You saw me doing it today, so it's not hard to do it. And if you have any other questions, like I said earlier, post them in the comments below. Please remember to use your little sprinkle button, that little button that's right down over here with the arrow, to sprinkle to other groups. It helps us grow and expand our reach, which allows us to do more contests and stuff. And remember, we're getting towards the end of September. There will be another contest for the full set, 5 16-ounce jars of the new Luster Stone Ice collection. And we'll see if I throw a little something else in there too. All right, everybody, it's Friday. Go home, have some fun, have a cocktail, enjoy your family. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.